over the years training students on mock interview. When I say mock interview, I mean preparing students for their F1 visa interview. I have over the years, I think after 2021, so it's been like 4 years since I started this and also started my travel agency, and I've realized how over the years students go to their visa interview, they get denied. And my team and I our dream is to reduce visa denial, because we sat down and we took the data, especially in Ghana and other parts of Ghana, Nigeria in particular, and other parts of Africa. We realized that the data for F1 visa denials is on the rise. So we decided to step in and help students with whatever or how principles or whatever goes on at the US Embassy in your country, and inform you guys the reality on the grounds and how you can increase your chances of securing your F1 visa. My name is Joshua, and this is JC Consult. My team and I are willing to help you secure that scholarship, secure that admission, as well as the scholarship, and even through your visa application, training you on your mock interview. If this is something that interests you and you are new here, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, hit on the notification bell, and share this video. Probably might be of help to somebody you know who is also preparing for their F1 visa interview. So before COVID, it was few Ghanaian students. I'm gonna talk about Ghana because I am from Ghana, and over the years I've specially monitored or analyzed situations in the US Embassy in Ghana. So before COVID, it was few Ghanaian students who were studying in the US, and most of these students go because the numbers were not alarming. They go, visa officers always get time for them, and most of the time when they ask them questions, they add documents to prove whatever they are talking about. So for instance, if you are talking about, oh, I graduated from this school, whatever, then the visa officer will ask for your transcript. Or probably if you are working, the visa officer will ask for what? Your job offer or employment letter. And also, if you tell the visa officer your sponsor is sponsoring you, then the visa officer will go ahead and ask for bank statement. But after COVID, most students decided that no, they want to study in the US. So after COVID, the numbers keeps increasing. So after 2020, 2021, 2022, each year, the number of Ghanaian F1 or student visa applicants keeps increasing, because it looks like most of the people who came earlier came to portray good stuff about the US and education in the US. So most of the students who graduated and they were home, they wanted to have something or a destiny or purpose for their life, so they decided to also study in the US. So after the numbers kept increasing, the visa deniers has also increased, especially students without funding. All right, so last week it was through the mock interview. I was training students, and that particular day I had so many students on the grounds for training. So when I was training them, I realized a particular pattern with students, especially those without funding. Our aim or our dream is to reduce visa denial. So if there is anything that a student come on my platform and the students, their story they tell me, and if the story they tell me, to me, if it's not going to increase your chances, I will let you know, and I will let you know the way forward. So I'm going to share the way forward to some of the stories I've been through. But before that, let me tell you how things work at the embassy before I can now go about how you can increase your chances. You can increase your chances and what to do when you get to the visa interview, and even preparing a good story to convince the visa officer to approve your visa. So let's take it this way. At the embassy, the US consulate in Ghana represent the US government in the United States. And the US as a country has been able to build schools, train professors, and they are in business. They have schools, they have facilities, and they have good professors. So if you want to come and study in the US, to the US consulate or to the US government is a business. You from Africa or other parts of the world, you are the one who sees it as opportunity. No, it is not opportunity. You are going to study in the US, then the US government or the US school or the professors, they will exchange money. That's why you pay tuition fee. So you pay tuition fee, then they'll exchange it with what? Knowledge and practical experience. That is what you're going to do. So with the US, they have built their system, school system, good schools, good laboratories, good professors. You pay tuition, then you exchange it for knowledge. So that is how they see it. That is when you go for the interview, the last question visa officers mostly ask is, how do you plan of paying for your deficit, especially when you are going to the interview without funding? And most of the times, the last question will determine if the visa officer will approve you or will not approve you. So most of the times, if you are a student and you are preparing for your visa and you don't have this at the background, that is why most students are denied, because if you don't have funding and you're not able to convince the visa officer, then you're going to be denied, because the visa officer works on behalf of the US government. And the tuition fee, especially if the school is a public university, the tuition fee goes directly to the government. So the visa officer is working on behalf of the US, and the amount of tuition they collect from the schools at the end of the year, that is the same amount of money visa officers or consulate, those who work at the consulate, are being paid. So they see it as a business. You see it because there are no opportunities in Africa. You see it from a perspective of what? As an opportunity to travel. You are seeing it from opportunity to travel. They are seeing it as a business. So if you are preparing for your F1 visa interview and you are going for the interview and you don't have funding, please get funding. Why am I saying get funding? Oh, people be like, I know people without funding, they went and they got approved. I have no problem with that. But a lot of students over the years went to the interview with bank statement, telling the visa officer, my uncle, my auntie will pay. Those students initially were given the visas. They got to the US, they did not go to school. And there's not only Ghanaians, Indians, Chinese, all parts. Yeah, it happens. Financial, and in this life, do not joke with your finances. Finances plays a crucial role. That is why students in the US, they take loans, because if you want to go to school in the US is very expensive. And that is why the students in the US, they go with loans, so that they do not find themselves the middle of the semester, they will be struggling to pay tuition. And a lot of Ghanaian students, so the moment you get to the US and you say your uncle will pay, your auntie will pay, you get to the US. And with the US, once you get here the first semester, I don't know if the mid-semester, when the mid-semester break, the moment you return from the mid-semester, so those who are coming for August 2025, mid-semester will be like October ending to November. When you resume, then you start registering for what? The following semester. If you have not paid your tuition fully for the first semester, you cannot register what? The second semester. That is why sometimes I tell students that if truly your sponsor will pay, then let your sponsor pay your first semester tuition fee, add the receipt, and take it to the embassy. With this time, your story is different. And all students who couldn't pay for the first semester tuition, they cannot register for the semester. Automatically, your DSO, which is your designated school official, will send an email to USCIS. Because USCIS, in partnership with the international admissions, generates what? The service number. That is why you pay service fee. So if you don't go to school for the following semester because you couldn't afford tuition fee, then the international admission or the DSO will send an email to USCIS. They don't know your whereabouts. You are no longer in the school. So, and US is a country that does not joke with what? Their data. So at the end of the year, all students coming from Ghana, coming from Nigeria, who do know, they have data of it. So the US or USCIS will send the data to the consulate. So when they send the data to the consulate, so I don't know if the 2025-2026 academic year, these were the number of Ghanaian or Nigerian or Sierra Leonean students who did not go to school. So the ambassador in the embassy will meet with the visa officers and they will discuss the data. America, they don't joke with data. And they will discuss, oh, these were the number of Ghanaian students who do not go to school. So what's the way forward? And when they check the reason why they don't go to school, most of them could not pay the tuition fee. And that is the reason why most Ghanaian students or Nigerian, in Africa, I think it's Ghana and Nigerian students that apply with high numbers in Africa. It's Ghana and Nigeria, especially in terms of what F1. These are the two countries that apply for highest F1 visa, and these are the two countries that the denial rate is so high, especially those without funding. Those without funding are mostly denied. So what is the way forward? The way forward is that do not go to the embassy with deficit. Whether you have no funding or partial funding, if you have no funding at all or partial, go with Empower. Apply for Empower loan. And if you're also applying with Empower loan, I know they will be like training students, they will be like Empower to a lot of Ghanaians or have been denied. The reason why students have been denied Empower is because in our culture, when you go for loans, you do not plan. You do not have a clear plan on how you're going to pay the loan with interest. You see, we take the same character to the embassy, but it doesn't work that way. The money is not for you, it's for Empower. So if you're not able to convince the visa officer how you plan to pay the money and it's not very tangible, the reason is not very strong. I remember one guy who got approved and he told the visa officer, so for example, he's traveling on a steady leave with pay. He has worked over the years and he has saved this amount of, let's say, $5,000. So as he's studying in the US, the money he has saved plus he's going to study he's traveling on a steady leave with pay. So that 2 years money that he's going to be paid plus the $5,000 he has saved, he's going to use this money for an initial deposit to pay Empower. And when he's done with school, and even maybe his father is also going to help him once he has done with school, he's going to get a job and every month he's going to pay $500. And also the daddy will also be helping him with this amount of money. Be specific with the numbers. My dad will be helping me with $10,000 or $10,000 each year to help me pay the loan with interest. So if you're not telling the visa a very tangible reason on how you are planning to pay somebody's money, the money is not for you. And if you don't have a plan to pay or a plan that is tangible, people have plan, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're not able to convince the visa officer how you're going to pay. So these are students who go with Empower and they're still denied. You understand? And somebody too was like, what if I pay the first semester tuition fee and I get denied? When you get denied, student visa is 50-50. If you get denied, you can defer. Or let your sponsor deposit the money in your account. Print your bank statement. Tell the visa officer, this is the amount of money I have saved. My father has also, or my uncle has deposited my first semester tuition fee. Then you will tell the visa officer on how you are going to transfer the money from your account in Ghana to the US, or when you're in the US, how the money is going to transfer into the school's account in the US. Then you tell the visa officer how you're going to do that. So all these tips I'm sharing with you are tips that is going to help you reduce visa denials at the embassy. And if you are going, US embassy don't deal with documents, especially this time that a lot of students are applying for visa. They don't deal with documents, especially bank statement. If you don't have funding, they will deny you unless your story is different. So I shared a story of this guy without funding, but his story was totally different. And please, mostly it's advisable that your parents pay, especially those without funding or partial. Your deficit should be paid by your parents. Your uncle, your auntie to have family they are taking care of. And there's a likelihood that your auntie or uncle will not pay. And most of the students who came to the US and couldn't continue the school because they couldn't pay tuition, they said their uncle or the auntie were going to pay. So you see why right now the uncle and auntie, the visa officers are sick and tired of uncle and aunties. Your parents brought you on earth and they are fully responsible to take care of you. And please, if you are married, do not go and tell the visa officer that my uncle or my daddy. If you are married, that is why you went to marry. When you marry, that means you are willing to take responsibilities. That is why you left your parents' house, joined together with your partner, and you are living together with your children. Here in the US, 16, 18, they will leave their parents' house, they start working, they make their money. If you are going to school, they take loan. So please, if you are a married couple too, or if you are married, it's either you are sponsoring yourself, or your wife or your husband is sponsoring you, or you're going with loan. Don't tell me you are married, because in the US, people take responsibility for their life, especially when they are married. You can't tell me you are taking responsibility for life and your father is still sponsoring you. If you don't have your finances intact, go with a loan. The moment you enter the US or the US embassy, how US practices their things, that is how they are going to judge your situation with. I was interviewed this man, he's married and his father. I said, really? You are a responsible man, you are married, you have kids, and your father is still sponsoring you. At the US embassy, that's for Ghana, it might be cool, okay, fine, but for the US, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So please, my team and I, we are here to help you guys increase your chances. So these are some of the tips I've realized. And please, those of you who think the grace of God is a function of knowledge. Some of the students came with fully funded scholarship. When I asked them, why did they choose this university? Why did they choose this program? And the kind of answers these students were giving to me, I realized that is when I realized that students with fully funded scholarship can also be denied, because the US embassy don't deal with documents. It's about your charisma, your confidence, and how you're going to speak to the visa officer. Then that is how your visa will be approved. Most students come to the mock interview, they will come and watch you, then they go and sleep. If you are not trained, you will not perform well at the embassy. It doesn't work that way. You need to give yourself chance to be trained. And do not join only my mock training, join other mock training. I've made 16 questions on my channel. If you have not watched, I'm going to pin it. Watch it. Answer, get a pen and a jotter, answer it. If you are married, give it to your husband or wife. If you are not married, then anybody who is close to your friend, a brother, give the 16 questions to them. Let them train you. Or you can even stand in front of the mirror and be answering these questions. If you're able to train yourself that way, there's no way your visa will not be approved. And have a good story. Have a good story. It's very important, please. If you're not doing this and increases your chances of getting the visa, then I'm sorry, you're going to be denied. My name is Joshua. This is JC Consult. We are here to help and assist. If you have not subscribed up to this end, kindly subscribe. We are on a journey to help a lot of students secure their visa and study in the US, which is their dream country. Thank you, and I hope these tips will go a way forward to help you. Subscribe, and share this video with your friends who are also preparing for their F1 visa interview. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.